All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Indie Creator Exchange with me, Jake, and my co-host Kurt. We're always here, and today's guest is Jason Leggo. And we were just saying that Kurt is a little bit familiar with our guests, but I am just meeting them for the first time, and I'm just going to be seeing all this great stuff for the first time on the air, first blush. Jason, how are you doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Very excited to be talking to you guys. I really like the Turbo Pit Fighter preview you guys sent me.
And likewise, I really love this stuff. I just stopped on this image right here. I love the style, the scratchiness, the brushy work. We're gonna get into all that. But start us off with where are you coming from? Where are you at in the world?
We're in beautiful Anaheim, California today.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
So we gotta be mindful of the time difference there. It's a little earlier for you guys, right?
It is.
Right. So the first question that we always ask is you know, let's go back to when you're 8, 9, 10 years old, maybe 12 years old. What are the first things that open up your eyes to the world of comics?
Man. Um, I'm not sure where my folks got them, but they definitely were bring home comics.
Uh-oh, they
But
didn't
it
have
was
any zaps in there, did they?
there was no zaps.
Okay.
Um, there was some Mads.
All right.
And there was also a one copy of Deadline magazine. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar
Whoa.
with that.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Jamie Hewlett, Tanker.
yes, yeah, and I can't remember. It was like the Wacky Racers. It had one of those in it, and it was just insane. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't understand what I'm looking at, but I thought it was cool. And then I'd pick up an issue of Zen, or whatever the Detective
The
Comics was that I
Intergalactic
had.
Ninja?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
First
Oh,
Comics.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just a mix of everything. I had no idea. I was stoked to be reading comics.
Right. Yeah, this is a little bizarre to see when you're a little kid. It's funny the way that we discover the stuff in our parents' collection. I always talk about like the LPs that my folks just happen to have lying around just ended up being like your favorite music in the whole world, right? So that's why I asked that question because for me it was like 20 and 25 cent Marvels, right? I might have only been like 4 or 5, but it just like gets in you, those primary colors. And now, anytime I see those, the books of those era, I just have a visceral reaction, and it just, takes you back to the joy of discovering comics, right? Um, and Kurt, of course, he's with the ninjas, and Kurt's with the barbarian stuff and the ninjas. But whatever we were exposed to real early starts us off on a path. And so now take us through like school. Did you have any training? What were your interests as it relates to your future in comics?
Yeah. I didn't spend I drew with stuff as a kid, but I don't think I ever really got like heavy into it like some people. I really started picking it up when I was maybe around mid 20s. I got in a pretty bad car accident. I got ran over by a truck.
Oh,
Ooh,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, so I had to figure out what am I going to do without my body,
right.
So drawing was definitely a good outlet and a good hobby to pick
So
up,
you
and it
went through
just
high
I
school.
really
You went through high school with no art training. You went through middle school, high school, no art training. Wow.
right. I mean, I took the standard
Yeah,
you know
I know. I'm an art teacher. I
required.
have I have 99% of my kids are just like passing through, not really interested. Just they're gonna do other things, and that's fine. So you really like perk up when you see a kid who's doing it at that age because you want to try to send them to like a good school and stuff. But you seem like it's just natural. I'm looking at styles here, just gifted. natural. I see storytelling here, narration. Um, so take us into your, I guess, your first entry, I guess, into publishing something, and then we'll get into the more closer to nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. So at first, like I started drawing, I felt at least confident enough to try to make a comic, and I got about 3 pages in and realized, oh my God, this is so much work. Like, this is tough. And so I shelved it, and then, same thing with another one, couple pages in, shelf it. I didn't actually publish anything until I got with this group called Ink and Drink Long
Okay.
Beach. They're we made this anthology book called Endangered African Hornman and Juggy, which is us riffing on,
Juggernaut and Rhino.
some
Right.
right,
So
right.
that's a hard
Uh,
cover.
yeah, we kickstarted it, and we did well enough to get uh, to get a
That's your
hardcover.
first your first
Wow.
published work is in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
actually, yeah, this is my first like storytelling work. I'd also published a cover for Bunny Mask #1, which is an Aftershock book. Um,
So so
but
take us
go
into
ahead.
the genesis. You're doing this stuff on your own, and you're starting to get into the scene a little. You're meeting people, and you go to these drinking draws, and that's when you start getting in a little publishing collective, totally indie. Right on, right on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, it's a really cool group. Everybody's hungry to publish and make stuff, and whatever that is, like we're all supportive of each other and trying to make it happen.
So
So it's really
and
fun.
is anybody there like kind of like a mentor figure to you, or is it everyone's kind of
Um,
like an equal hierarchy? We're all just like bumbling along
I
together.
think everybody's kind of just doing their own thing, and we come together to do these projects when we can. There's muralists, there's toy makers, comic guys. Everybody's kind of just on their own path, and I think it's a really cool, like very loose sort of thing.
And you said you're in the Encino area?
Anaheim.
Oh, sorry, Anaheim. My bad. Yeah,
It's
my mom used to live out west.
I'm neighbors with Disneyland.
Right. Well, yeah, and aren't we all nowadays? But
Oh man, that's the truth.
so one thing I didn't ask, as you're transitioning to like kind of like this fan into like a creator, we all kind of flock to copy our heroes, right? And hopefully that comes out. I mean, some people when they're looking at my stuff, they mention Crumb, and I'm like, oh wow, I just like get such an endorphin rush hearing that. But what are your kind of like people that you always want to emulate? When you're starting out, anyway.
Well, my first one that I was really looking at was Bruce Timm, because I grew up loving
Mm.
that Batman series, and it looked doable. And as soon as I started trying to draw like that, it was like, oh my God,
What
he
is he
knows.
doing?
Yeah, right. It's like he makes it look so
He
easy.
does.
It's
I went down.
simplistic and
I went down
it's
there.
simplistic and he really sorry, Kurt, you go
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. I went down a Bruce Timm rabbit hole, but it was through a pulp he had illustrated, like before he even got into um, where he actually ends up, as being Bruce Timm. But the illustration itself, do you guys know what Coquille board is? It's
Holy
Yeah, I
Jesus.
know. So it's for those who don't, it's a board that has a texture on it. And so when you go to like shade, it immediately gives you this really great, I would say kind of like a speckle, but if you like, lay in a dark line, as I was dumbfounded for the longest time, and then ended up in a conversation with somebody. I don't even think it was comic book related, and the person said, "Oh, it's coquille board." But stylistically, Jason, is what you're speaking to, is the way he's able to like completely resolve everything down to its basic shapes, yet it looks and feels complex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a master, man. One tenth of his genius or whatever, I would hope to emulate someday. I don't think I really draw like him. I think I'm very a little bit more loose and kind of go with the flow y. Um, I like that a lot about
Yeah,
Phil
with
Sinkevich's
that
work.
loose. That I noticed your kind of like loose brush stroke style kind of reminds me of what is it?
Daniel,
The one I like, Powerbomb. Daniel Warren something. Kurt.
oh, Daniel
Johnson.
Warren Johnson. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was intentional, but I see that in some of these samples I'm seeing anyway. And you also have, to me, the throwback look to kind of like Raw magazine that was Art Spiegelman's art direction. He had just like all of these guys like Mark Marek and you know just these kind of like, I want to say, loose style, you know, cartoony, but also, representational and not worried about like executing a perfectly, like Bruce Timm. It's funny because like he's cartoony, but every stroke is like perfectly executed, right? It's like a golf swing, right? Like perfect, right? And that some people say that's the real talent. It's not like luck or hard work or anything. It's just, it just perfectly comes out every time. Like, that's how Stan Lee used to describe Jack Kirby. There was never anything that was like wrong. It was like nothing to throw away. So you do have a couple of different variations of your style. Why don't you, like, do you have like a name for them in your mind, like Blue Steel or something, or um, like take us through your styles, because it's a little overwhelming here to see this all at once.
Yeah. I I kind of try to go with I have a real problem. I don't know if you guys do this as well, but I'll learn something new. I'll get a new pen. Um, I'll see a
Tell me
new
about it. Look at
toy.
this.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to try it out. And it's like, okay, you know, like with this, you're flipping through the Cobra book right now, and it's like, okay, I wanted to try like more harsh shadows on like backgrounds and try to like kind of capture almost like a manga type of feel with some of the cityscapes and stuff. So
I
I was like
noticed
really
also.
intentional.
Hey Kurt, do you notice that he's printing black and white in 4 color?
I Yes, yes. But the thing I want to what I want to kind of bring us back to is a thank you for sending all that you sent to both of us, Jason. I mean, it just like Jake said, it's a lot to consume, but it was a hell of a good time doing it. But can you give some context to maybe the kind of collaboration that you're, because what I have are the two newspaper size publications you did. Ink Drink Long Beach is this one, and then Cobra 2039 is you. Jake over there, and I'm going to be flashing this up on the screen, but Jake even has like, you got little mini comics too. So give us a good context of what the exploration is, and some of the people that you're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. The little zines, I do a lot of zine fests, and it's a cheap and easy way to get art in front of people. I sell those for $1, or if you're buying one of the bigger books, I'll usually throw one or two in. So I do a lot of zine fests. They're a really cheap and like easy way to get the work in front of people, and I usually give one or two out if you're buying one of the bigger books. The newspaper, I just wanted to see if I could do it. I mean, newsprint looks so cool, and it's so hard to
Oh yeah.
find anyone who's producing with that kind of material. I think it adds something unique, and it becomes more of an artifact instead of just another book to throw in a long box. Um, so the
Yeah.
2039 was a way to explore that. And then I figured out I can do it. We can make more of these. And that's when I brought on the Mass Cybernetics project. So I organized that with the Ink and Drink crew. And it's basically heavy metal with, some indie artists on a big ass newsprint.
So once again, that's cybernetics,
Mass Cybernetics, correct.
mass cybernetics.
Yeah, I have it. Jake, I got it right
Oh
here.
yeah, okay. Do I have that? Okay, I might not have that. But
No, I have
right.
it.
But I like the reason I was trying to jump in is let's not go too fast because this is like a very valuable I think segment for people. Usually when I get a zine, and Kurt, tell me if this is the same for you. Usually when I get a zine from somebody, I cringe because I'm like, this is a little piece of paper that is going to. There's a little piece of paper. I mean, I've made these myself. It's a little piece of paper that people, are not going to care for. It's just going to be in the way, and eventually they'll just throw it out. But it's a temporary art form. These, on the other hand, make you say, like the way this is just graphically done, right? You have a title and a picture on each one, and it's good enough. The art and the title are good enough to get you to want to flip it, right? And and then it brings you through some narrative here, which is kind of like loose and makes you think, right? It isn't like word balloons. It isn't like this.
So the question really comes to what is the difference between doing something that's 3 by 5 inches and then something that's newspaper size? I mean, even in once again, because this is your comic book as well as those zines.
Yeah, I think the zines I look at more as practice. I get to get my ideas out,
Okay.
see what works, what doesn't. I don't know if you guys feel
Yeah.
this way, but like seeing something physically completely changes
Yes.
how I perceive it. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, okay,
Especially printed.
yes. And it's like, okay, I can fix this, this, and this, and then, go
Yep.
from there. Um,
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Good
I
point.
don't always get to go back and, once something's printed, it's printed. But yeah, I think the zines are a very good way to learn pacing, learn how to do it, and it's like I said, they're very cheap and
And they end up being really good promotionals, like you said. Like if you've got a bunch around, you can just chuck them in the
For
bag, and
what
then
though?
people are like,
For
ooh.
what though? So
What
before
What do you mean for
before we
what?
move off zines onto newsprint, because I love newsprint. I used to work in newsprint a lot. Um, is that Jason? I think you should take these and make these each a PDF file, and then the zine is just like an ad, and people can get the PDF file, which might be like with another PDF and another PDF in a package or whatever, however you want to sell your stuff. But because if you take this zine and you're looking at it in paper and then you move it up to the camera and it's filling the screen, it's a whole different animal, right? I'm trying to do this like backwards, but and I think that the younger generation, I'm an art teacher at middle school level, I think that's how this stuff could be consumed, because nowadays everybody wants to pinch it in and pinch out on their own, like control, you know what I mean? And you have a lot of detail on some of this stuff, and some of it you would just like flip through like manga, but look at all this. Like if you're going to zoom in on the reading, and you have Frankenstein in the Renaissance guy pose, these zombies, these monsters, there's a lot here, and then you get this kind of like
Well, I would
picture here.
go, Jake. I would go one step further. Is blow it up. Go 18. Go
Right.
18. Go 8.5 by 11. And in a collection, because then you're going to see them at another vantage point. For that, and it might end up being a decent like collection of Jason Leggo's uh, um, zines, but blown up. But as suggestions go, but yeah, let's talk more about these the newspaper newsprint, because as Jake said, I am exactly the same way. I've been wanting to do something like this. So the first question I have is, who the hell's doing this, and how much does it cost?
uh, I was ordering it from a factory in France. They,
What?
yeah, I don't know what
Wow.
what
I
is
missed
going to be
that
going
factory and
down with
where?
that. Factory in France.
France.
Okay. Did
Yeah,
that cost?
they do a great job, man. They're fucking. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I
You
allowed
can
to
do it.
cuss?
You
My
can
bad.
do it.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Sorry,
Uh,
kid.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So sorry. I'm getting them printed out in France. The dudes are really good at adjusting the levels and like making sure everything's, you know, running smooth in the way it should. For the small one, it's a few bucks, but that's only 8 pages. The Mass Cybernetics is closer to 10 a copy to produce.
Okay. How many pages is that?
That is 48.
Uh, 48. All
48.
right. So then that's
Yeah.
12. So that's 12 physical sheets, 4 on each. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really wow. That's really good.
That was as much as I could pack in it. You know, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
max? Like, all right, that's what we're working with.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been really cool. And I know you can go smaller, but I think having something about holding up a giant newspaper, like actually,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
How many
it's cool.
Cobras are there?
There's probably only about 100 or so Cobras.
And you mean the 2 issues?
I just did the one so far.
Oh, does Kurt have something different? Oh, that's not Cobra. That's a different. Okay.
Well, this is Cobra. I do
Right.
have Cobra. Mass Cybernetic is the 48
Right,
edition.
and that's an anthology, Mass Cybernetics.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this other anthology. All right. So I guess that brings us to this because, Kurt said 8.5, 11. You obviously you can do whatever you want, but I would say
Mm-hmm.
if the paper version of this could just be a little bigger, like 5.5, 8.5,
Okay.
because it just has that cute feel to you. It's just like sometimes the lighting's a little dark where people are looking at stuff, and you just got to think about every like situation. Um, so this is another compilation that you're involved in right here.
Yes, it is. That is a redraw of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. We went page by page of the original Eastman Laird story and
Oh,
reinterpreted
Oh
it
wow.
through, our own eyes. What's cool about this one and a little bit different than maybe like the Bart Kira or something like that is you might get the same pages remixed over and over. So there's like
Oh,
four
that's
page
cool.
ones or, stuff like
hey,
that.
Kurt, that
Oh,
Kurt,
that's
that's
so
what I was.
cool. Oh, I love
Kurt,
that. Oh, I love that.
remember, Kurt, I just showed you that the other day. When I was a kid, I found on lined paper. I redid Captain America and the Black Panther by Jack Kirby. A whole, and it was
Yeah.
like one of the first things I ever finished. And I just had one of those flare pen markers, right? Like a paper mate. I don't know. I don't have one here, but and I just redid the whole thing, all different viewpoints, angles, and everything, and all the lettering, which is like, wow, that was really hard, but it's so amateurish. I gotta like, do something with it. Um,
We will. But the other point I want to add is I love the idea of not only reverse engineering a famous comic or a highly influential, but the multiple interpretations, variant wise, of those pages being printed together. So I got to hunt this book down and get a copy
well,
because I am I no, but my thing. This is me preaching. I just need to preach. All right,
preach.
is I'm tired of these variant cover bullshits having stinky interiors, and people are basically getting suckered into 6 maybe good covers but the interiors are crap. Let's flip the script. Let's do the interiors in variation as many times as you want, and then just put them out. There's nothing stopping you. So I applaud you and the Ink and Drink Long Beach crew
Here's
for
the logo
doing
right there.
this. This is
Yeah.
great. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, Kurt. I'll let you have this for a while. Anyway, this is.
You say that all the time, and then I gotta.
So your
I had to sow the seeds of destruction, you know.
Jason,
Here, you get this one.
Jason, you are I know I was handsy with sales. Your pages 4 and 5 here, right?
Yes.
So does that, because there are no numbers here? So is that this sequence, the very first sequence right here?
It's going to be a little bit past the
Right.
splash pages,
Okay.
and it should be, I think it's going to be 1 or 2 more pages.
All right, because you don't
Sorry.
know where it starts.
Keep going.
You're talking about this. So when you actually begin the sequential, because this looks like they started off with some title pages and some pins, right?
Right. So it's going to be, I think it's
Keep
like
flipping.
one right there. Yeah, there we are.
Oh, there's says J Leggo. So you're on the left and the right.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. You see, your style comes in as
That's
just the changer from the last guys. You know, that's great. That's great.
Love it. Love it.
So yeah, so this is great, and because like Kurt would say like he's more of a slashy guy, you know, and the spontaneity, and that when I think about like doing sequential interiors, you probably want to have a clean style because you're worried about the storytelling and the narrative and but you can do it any way you want. This proves that you can just open it up.
Yes.
You have good value on the page there, but you're also in your own time constraint, right? Because like being done with one page gets you onto the next page, and that's so important. If you're collaborating with somebody, or if you're on a deadline, or God forbid you're getting like paid by the hour or something, or what. So
So I want to get to our next segment is promotion. Jason, what are you doing to promote yourself and obviously these amazing publications that you have?
Oh, thanks, dude. So I'm mainly going to comic book conventions, zine fest, that kind of thing. Getting out there. We have a big newspaper box that I bring around and slap it
Oh,
down.
cool.
So it's eye catching
Yeah.
and it's kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff. And then I don't know if you guys have figured out the online thing, but I'm still trying.
What are you doing?
I'm just
You got an Instagram, you got a YouTube channel, you got a
Hold on,
Sky
Jason.
Blue,
all of
you
it.
got a
Hold on,
TikTok.
Kurt,
All
let's
of
hear
it.
let's hear what Jason needs, because I can't wait to tell him what you do. Go ahead, Jason.
I don't know. I think I need some more eyes on it because I feel like I post and you get your response or whatever, but it is tough.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
uh,
getting people to pull the trigger. I do what Jake's leading to is I work with artists in online marketing, but one of the toughest parts in it's an I call it education first when I first meet somebody. Everybody thinks if they invest in their time and their money to advertising, to like basically making things that advertise, that there should be an ROI, a return on the investment. And it's true, but Coca-Cola ads don't sell Coca-Cola. They remind you that Coca-Cola still exists. So the competitive soft drink market is out there. But when you get into marketing, I always try to get people to think of ways to get people to see something of yours over and over and over again in social media that then causes somebody to go, oh, you know what? I just keep seeing all this great stuff that Jason's doing. I just might as well pick up this copy of it because we are dealing with the flip, 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 flip,
So
flip, flip,
yeah,
flip, flip, flip. But
before,
to get, hold up, Jason. I mean,
yeah.
hold up, Jay. But when you get somebody to stop for just that second, there's something coming in that basically has resonated. It just needs to be repeated a lot. Actually, one of the things I'm going to start investigating is this was based on an interview I did over on my Crown the Barbarian channel with Ralph Cornford. He's selling his comics more through the YouTube shop. So now YouTube has the ability to, that's what I got to basically cut out some time and start doing for myself and push towards my other clients. But that's something mechanism wise, you would think, oh, wow, that would sell. Okay. And other people are selling. But once again, there needs to be some kind of content that the person lands on and is opened and is engaged. And then there's the shop button. So it's
So
out there.
and before we let you talk again, Kurt, he had a great point there. But what I was going to say is, there's like maybe the shorter version because I'm just like the artist guy. I just try to do pages. Is that your brand is more important than any product you have, and with Kurt and we took a left turn by making a podcast instead of just making the comic, right? The podcast goes with the comic, and we have 3 years of archives, making every little page. So, there's some kind of like other angles you can come at this, but I would suggest if you don't want to have to do any other work, let Kurt put some of your PDFs among his other stuff that he offers and let him curate, and all that would happen is you just have commissions going his way and sales going your way, and then it isn't even just about the particular product, because Kurt always says you're lucky if you sell like 100 pieces. Is that you're building
Well, let me just
you're building your
let me
brand.
just give a little quick. But yeah. Well, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake. But the more important part is the how do. So, do you have a newsletter?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, so I mean, to boil everything that's been said, forget it for right now. But if you can set up like a Substack, which is what I would, because that's actually a very hot social media platform right now, growth wise. And then what happens is that it will, you got to still do all the work. So just posting is going to be one thing, but they have a lot of really good instructional pieces to help you, propagate, collaborate, like let's say, collaborate with others, connect with others, that type of thing. And they even have a paywall section to it. So one of my sites is going to round up to about 200 subscribers. And once I get that, I'm going to create a second layer of content that is only accessible through the pay level. So I'm still going to be giving the same 2 days a night free for content, but then there'll be a second layer where it's pay. So, the reality will be probably 3 to 5 people will pay that $2.99 for it. But then once again, it's all about the growth. I want to go back to how many zine shows and comic shows are you doing? Because being in California, you're not alone in being able to hit a lot of shows. So you can make a decent living if you're just doing 135 shows a year. But how many are you doing per year, Jason?
Not quite 135. I'd say
That's every other day.
it'd be a little rough. We're more like I usually do 2 to 3 a month.
That's damn good.
Yeah,
That is damn
Really?
good.
It's
And then you guys are all going as a crew, right? So the ink and drink, is that it, or are you on your own?
I generally go alone. I've done a couple of like small book comic book store signings with, or like, marts, with the Ink and Drink crew. We also did like an art gallery thing where we did like, it's called Variants, and we all did comic book covers for the same book and put it up in a
Yeah.
gallery. But yeah, generally I'm on my own. I have my box, and I set it up real easy, and yeah, I like doing it. It's really fun to like get out there and
Good.
see like people's reaction to the work. I'm always like just so stoked when somebody walks by and you see them light up and that big smile, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's, even
Oh
if you
yeah.
don't buy anything, that was like worth it. So
Building your brand.
So once again, for every show you do, try to come away with 5 emails based on the conversations that you're having, and say, hey, I'm running a Substack. You can join it, here, or let me get your email and I'll add you to the Substack. That type of thing. And off air, I'm more than happy to share more with you, Jason.
Wait,
But
quick question, Kurt.
yeah,
What is Jason's commissions, and how much of your day or week is that, and have you ever done like Merc work and page rates and stuff?
um commissions are kind of just a you know on request basis. I don't have anything specifically set out. I do these little, I got one right here, um these little trading cards. They're $20 a piece.
oh,
It's
that's
a
cool.
cool way to get quick art.
Is,
It's not a
is
huge.
is that live at the table that you do those, or you pre-order those?
I can do either. I do most of them through Instagram. People will, reach out, but I also have them at the table. I have a printer, and I just make a big sheet, chop them up, and then
You have an 8.5,
go
11
from there.
printer?
11 by 17.
Oh, nice. And you have a
Yeah,
scanner?
yeah, yeah. I got the big the Epson Workforce one.
That's what Kurt has. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I live by.
hell yeah.
Sometimes I buy them 2 at a time if I can afford it, because I just hammer at mine.
Oh no.
Um,
they conk
So
out.
let's keep moving, because we've been talking about some great subjects. We probably would ask a question like, what's it like having last name Lego if you're doing SEO? Um, but but no, seriously, who do you want to call our attention to in this book besides yourself? Because we love what you're doing here, and is there anybody
Oh
else
yeah,
here that's like particular buds with you or
Oh
whatever?
man. Well, Philip McVan did the cover, and he also did the page right before me. I love his work, and Kurt has it pulled up there. He did the
Because page
oh wow, cool.
six or
centerfold.
There
seven,
you
so this is
go.
right after you, right here.
Yeah,
Nice,
I love his work.
nice.
It's cartoony and drippy, and just it's cool. Um,
Yeah, reminds you of what is it? Inky and scratchy. You
yeah,
remember?
from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Well, it was someone was like a taken off on The Simpsons and Matt Groening, but it was like Itchy and Scratchy was like kind of like it was kind of like Crazy Cat, but like severely gory.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
with The
I've seen
Simpsons.
that. It was the strip, right? Prior to,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
I'll pull it
Mm.
up. Yeah, I think Itchy and Scratchy was the one in the Simpsons world, but there was another one that was more underground, and it was just taking like those Fleischer kind of styles and just making it like super gory. And it's like funny gags when they because Itchy and Scratchy in the Simpsons world, they have like funny things like they're a TV show and the cat gets electrocuted, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, no, this was much more bloody. It was some underground. I'll find it. But if we have to move this along,
We do.
I would just say people should definitely try to pick this up. Ink and Drink Long Beach. It's
Thank
great.
you. Yeah. Well,
Links will be in the description.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Here is another one I wanted to call quick attention to, if you guys don't mind. It's a Kevin
Yeah,
Anthony
please.
Catalan's work.
Oh yeah. We know from Cosmic Lion.
Oh yeah,
It looks like
Uh,
Val
yeah,
Mayrick.
Adam Lemna and Eli Schwab. We've had them on. We just saw them at IC3. So yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, they're a great
yeah.
crew. I love what they're doing. Um, they're good folks.
You must run across them out on the circuit there, the con circuit.
Quite a bit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just saw Rick
yeah.
Lopez at WonderCon. I picked up he
Uh,
did a 24-hour comic. Can you guys believe that shit? Like
he's great. Yeah. We've got him. We've got him coming on. We got to hang out with him one night, and he ended up giving both Jake and I a bunch, 4 of his
Bunch
comic
of
books.
sign stuff. Nice.
I mean, yeah, signed. I mean, I will go on record backing a lot of people. He's the nicest guy in comics, Rick Lopez. Everybody, the nicest guy. So love it.
right on.
Yeah, so
He
you're
was
crossing paths with a lot of people, right? What's your favorite show or your favorite series?
actually hold. Jake? Can I redirect? Because I want to get to the last segment with him, which is what's Jason's outlook on the future of comics.
Oh, that's our standard stock question. We got
Yes. Keep on the. Did you hear that, Jason?
Uh yeah, should I go? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please,
okay.
please.
Yeah, future outlook. Damn. That is tough. What's the future going on with anything? I
nowadays.
I am I'm just keeping rocking and rolling. I'm sure there's always going to be comics. There's so many artists out there. I mean, just being in this world like a little bit for as short as I have, I mean, there's so many artists out there and they're all hungry to do something new and make their stamp and express themselves in some way. And I think we're always going to have comics, and whether they're digital or printed, you know, who knows? That's maybe not the most important thing, but I think we're definitely going to be seeing some really cool work coming in the next few years. And even
Yeah,
and it's going to be work from guys like you and I. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all going to no one's stopping, you know.
right.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And the thing is, like, you know, when you like a band, you try to like buy their T-shirt and their vinyl because you're investing in the band and you believe in them and everything, and you're an early adopter. And when it comes to art, you got to buy a physical comic of somebody, and they are using digital means now, not to replace that, but just like as a step in between. Like, why not say if you buy the comic, you get the free PDF, and you could always look at it in between, and that you have the comics, and now you keep the comic in good condition. So, all kinds of stuff like that. But imagine, you know, I would hope that in 5 years from now, we all just have bling blongs on our phones, and somebody bought a PDF, and then they're going to support you when they see you at a show, or maybe they're following up from meeting you at a show, and you just keep the content going to the hands of the audience. That's the point. And it is a very disposable medium, especially if you look at Japan. And so you can have a version of your work that people can throw away, and it's okay. Now they have it they get you a zine for $1, and now you have a PDF for like $2.99, and then when you see them, you get the graphic novel or the comic or the magazine format, and these are definitely collectible right now because they're gonna yellow with time, and they're gonna look so cool. When they get aged. So and but eventually, like, we have ones from the 60s and the 70s. I had like the East Village Other and the East Village and but that like predated Zaps, and they're expensive, they're valuable now, but they're crumbling to dust all the time. So you
Well,
know
I think one of the things that having just we just attended IC3, which was just absolutely a perfect show because it was just all about the creators. And, Matt Sardo and Jamie Jones, they really did an amazing job show running it. And as a one day show goes, the only thing I'm coming back with in the sense of like, I don't say regret, but is that I didn't have a chance to sit down with all 174 people who attended, us being the 175th, to really get to know. And, if there was any wish out there for me to put is a centralized location online that, you could go and sort of just, search out people based on a genre, even style of work, or even like small zines to large newspaper style stuff and everything. But, I agree with you, Jason. This is like, it doesn't feel like our momentum is slowing down or redirecting. It feels more like it's like, and I'm not even talking like artists wise. I'm hearing a lot of people on the outside looking in saying, like, comic book store owners and, something like IC3, where they're like, hey man, let's bring attention to, all these guys making this stuff and gals making this stuff and everything from there. So yeah, I think sky's the limit at this point. Technology as well.
Oh, absolutely. And it's never been easier to kind of connect with lots of people. I
Yeah,
mean, we we
it's a
don't
lot of
have to
people.
go through, DC or Marvel or any of the other big companies.
Yep,
We can connect
yep,
directly with fans, especially at shows, especially online. And it's
yep.
just kind of streamlines that pipeline. Just I make it, if you want it, here's the price, I'll send it to you.
Now you approached me directly. What led you to us? Wanting to be a part of our, because we are trying to do that. But as much as Jake and I are doing our Making Turbo Pit Fighter on this YouTube channel, we do review comics and our comics influence. We really started the whole. Yep, we're going to talk about that. We started this whole part because we've been literally out of the game. I mean, we got no game. And I made a suggestion to Jake, and we're old too, by the way. Jake is 72 years old, and
Very funny.
I'm 52 years old. But what brought you, to us?
Hmm. Honestly, the algorithm. I don't know
Yes.
if you guys were much into the cartoonist kayfabe, but I
Oh
I
yes.
loved
I'm
the
now going back and watching all the quarter bin pulls.
oh, nice.
Yeah, they're
They're
great.
great. Yeah, they're so fun, and they had like such a cool insight on comics, and it's coming from like that maker's perspective. I'd
Yes.
met Jim Rugg maybe, I don't know, a decade ago at a comic shop here, and he was one of the nicest guys I'd ever met. And
Yep. Yep.
yeah, it was great. So anyway, no more kayfabe videos. So I just was on the algorithm, just kind of searching around, trying new channels out, and I saw you guys on there, making a comic, and that's totally what I want to see. I want to see like, let's talk through, the character choices, what's going on, why are we telling the story this way or that, pens, that kind of like, I geek out over, the tools and all that.
Yeah.
That's really fun
Yeah.
for me. Um, so seeing what you guys were doing was awesome. And then you guys had put out the request or the call, um, if you're an indie creator, like reach out. So I said, you know what, F it, I'll fill out the form and we'll see what happens.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Jason, I just want to say, when we do these shows, it's a pleasure to, see people that are on the same wavelength and that you can also continue important conversations with as far as, working together to just keep promoting each other. And maybe even more. We had an episode that we taped right before that we lived right before this, where we were on with Alex Turbin, and he's got his own, world. He's got Mutandis, and he's got this new zine that he's putting out that he's going to kickstart after the first three issues are done, and we're in issue 2. And we're just like working with each other now, so he comes up and just like hangs out when we're drawing, and he draws his stuff in a little square. And we're loving the technology. We're getting subscribers slowly but steadily, for all this time we've been doing it. And we'd love to have you back, as a contributor, because your
Hold
style,
up, hold
it's
up, hold
uh,
up, hold up,
go,
hold up.
go.
I just want to finish. I just want to really get this finished. Uh, we would like to get your feedback, if you will, or just even questions when it comes to you've got the second turbo teaser, which is our uh, you know, way to exchange, and get people to give us feedback. So, as we are heading out at the end of this, please give us what your thoughts are, or even if you have questions, Jason, on our turbo teasers.
Okay.
Constructive criticism or destructive criticism.
There's enough destruction in this book. I don't think I need to knock you guys down any. Uh,
Bam.
no,
Good
this
one.
is killer, bro. Like, it is so cool. First of all, thank you for sending it in like such a cool way. Like, it's very easy to consume, and uh,
You're welcome.
this format might be something I look into doing more of.
Kinkos.
Kinkos, I like it. I like it.
The first one we did, which was only 6 pages and some other stuff, so it would be an 8 pager. I did print on the same paper on the workforce. So, that's the first iteration without the staples. So,
Right
go
on,
ahead.
my man. Getting paid to make comics. I love it. No, this is great. The the storytelling is very clear, which I appreciate. The line work is great. I enjoy all the action. It totally felt like I picked it up and I was like, I know what kind of story I'm reading very quickly, and I love it. Like, this is what I'm about. I want cool fighting. I want interesting characters, and that's got that's what's in here. It's super fun, and watching you guys create it is a real treat too. I mean, I see
Well,
Jake
thank you,
drawing right
thank
now.
you.
Is that a new page for Turbo?
Yep, this is the rough page, and when it's done, we go to a finished page that looks like this, and this is just before Kurt gets the inks. This is what the finished pencils look like here, and it's just my style, the way we've been developing, we've been evolving, both Kurt and I, among the last 3 years, getting back into this. And, we don't do a page every week. We do like maybe a page every 3 weeks. I do. And, sometimes there's detours because we were just doing a 2 pager for Alex Turbin's zine. So we're back to it, and I'm working on page 24, where the entire orphanage is blown
Issue
sky high.
two.
Yep, issue 2, and so we're just as far along on issue 2 pencils as we are along on finishes for issue 1. Which is the inks and the letters and the tones and everything. So it's a slow process, but we're just like savoring every minute of it. And
Yeah.
we go live every Sunday at around 10 a.m. Eastern. So we've been having these guests on, and sometimes we just have people in the chat, because it's like we hope to God that there's somebody out there that's drawing while we're live, because we're all just drawing and hanging out. And Kurt always says we're going over to Jake's house after school, um, and
Hanging
and
out
then
with Jay.
every time he says that, I laugh, because I remember, like, this kid Alex Newman lived right across the street, and he in a brownstone, and we used to that's where I saw Frank Miller Daredevil first run. Actually, before Frank Miller on Daredevil, it was like somebody else, like maybe even Sal Buscema or something. But they had great stuff, and it just sinks in your mind forever. So It's great to make new friends, and it's great to have business ties, whatever that could be, like just promoting each other or collaborating. It's great.
Absolutely.
One of the things that when I cut Jake off, I kind of want to just help kind of
He's the
and put that.
timekeeper. It's
And
fine.
yeah, no, it's fine. But one of the things that Jake and I are sort of perplexed about, but I think we do come to a greater understanding. Jake and I only have Sundays to work together, to get together and work together, and we only keep it to Sundays. There's some things that happen on the outskirts of time. From Sunday, that we'll both do our thing and everything, but it's about that. And Jake has already scripted out, laid out 6 issues at 28 to 32 pages. It'll end up being a graphic novel after the floppies, yada, 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 watch the live thing. But this is the suggestion I'm going to start putting forward is, and especially to somebody like yourself, Jason, because you're a part of the Ink and Drink, get a very small 2 to 4 page project with somebody and go live doing it. Whether it's like you meet every Tuesday night, it doesn't have to be the same night, like whatever timing you have, put it together. Because the thing that perplexes us is that there's not more people in our industry. There's all this collaboration, but there's not that sharing in the, just like Jake says, we hope right now in recording, and you watching this recording and making it this far, you're working on your stuff. Like that's what we're really promoting here. But then it ends up being this
Yeah,
symbiotic kind of thing with everyone.
the way it's been like it has been amazing, because we've been mentioning this ever since we're doing it, and a lot of people we meet say, "Wow, what a cool idea!" Like I just said to Kurt one day, you know, comics kayfabe is fascinating, but if they're not showing pictures of comics, I don't want to see their heads bobbling around,
Yeah,
so, you
yeah.
know, and
Tired of watching artists talk.
so
I
that's
don't. I
fine.
don't.
So you just put
Tired
it
of
on
it.
in the background when you're drawing, and that's great. But then why not? Your friend is drawing right at the same time. Why not go live, and then maybe you get a third person on, or a fourth person, and some people are just in the comments. But if you can be on a Zoom nowadays, you can podcast, right? So why not give people an hour a week or something? This way you could make a Patreon, or you could do whatever. I think we're just like not really monetizing, me and Kurt, yet. We're just, we're selling a couple of teasers here and there, but it's just really, getting ready for when the first comic comes out, and then we'll, have something to say if we want to, crowdfund, or if we want to, you know, you know, just stay on the same schedule. The plan is like a very, very long plan. We want a graphic novel in 6 issues. So that's very, very, very far out there.
Oh yeah.
And we just have this we have the steady stream of progress, as slow as it is, to
So
to be
So just
there.
this is Jake doesn't even know this. So one of the powerful things like in marketing oneself is doing something consistently on a social media platform. So us doing this on YouTube for 3 years every Sunday has done something to the point where somebody just made a comment on episode 2, which was great looking comment. Keep up the good work. And that right there was like the price of admission, for me, to keep just going on, because like you, Jason, all of us are in the same boat, and I don't think anything's going to ever eliminate the anxiety that comes along with, now I've made it, what do I do with it, how do I get it in people's hands and in front of them. But the fact that you saw us through an algorithm because you went and searched, whether it was on Google or YouTube, is fantastic. But you also did probably one of the toughest things anybody can do. I got a nephew that's going through this right now, which is filling out an application. It's filling out that form. What the hell's going to come back? You know what I mean? And I just want everybody to know the form comes to me, Kurt Rugel, and I respond to you by looking at what you got. And then we try to work out the exchange. And then, boom, here we are with Jason. And just so everybody knows, Jake only has a couple left of his, and we're talking about reprinting his at another 40 copies. But Jason, you have now a collector's item because I am sold out.
All right.
So the one I ended up selling you, 40 copies were printed. I think I have 2 left here in the studio, which I will keep. And you are one of the 38 that got a hold of it, which is actually also a part of the design, is that, we gave you something that as an artifact 25 years from now, you'll be able to get probably $4.75 for it. But,
Awesome.
your grandchildren
right.
will be able to go to space. They'll be able to travel to Mars and back. Based on this artifact going into auction and resale.
Yes,
but we're not going to take any more time. We had an awesome conversation here. This alone, I've had like it on the Shays, listening to Cartoons Kayfabe and other channels. Really, really, really enjoy what you sent me when it comes to these 2 large format. And as I always say, we are not one and dones. So just because we got the awesome Jason Leggo to come on and be interviewed, we will be returning to you. Definitely when we get another teaser together. Our 3rd teaser, which is hopefully going to come out later this year. Reconnect with you and to see what else you have. You do have a Kickstarter, which I want you to then take us out on. Not only your Kickstarter, but to share, but also where people can find you.
Okay, cool. I probably am most active on Instagram. If you're looking for me anywhere, the linktree.jasonleggo, jasonleggo.bigcartel is my store. And we're currently about to launch I guess it's in the pre-stage, so you can bookmark it now. Don't miss it. It is Sewer Boys 2, which is going to be Giant Size X-Men, a redraw of that.
Whoa.
So that launches May 6th.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Is that an anthology?
It's.
He didn't say nothing in the beginning. He just said he had a Kickstarter coming.
Maybe I should have led with that.
Is that an anthology?
It's going to be a redraw, just like the first Sewer Boys, the Turtles one.
Right.
So
that's so cool.
Can Kurt and I audition for 2 pages of that? Because Giant Size X-Men #1 is my is my grail.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's talk after this.
You see how I just committed to something without asking.
Again, this episode alone, I'm committed to 3 things I didn't even know we were doing. But keep going, Jason. Keep going, Jason.
That's how we do it.
Jake, hold it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Giant Size X-Men #1. You hear how excited these guys are. Check it out. It's another insanely good looking book. It's going to be over 100 pages. It'll be full color. And yeah,
wow.
I mean, you're getting the best indie guys working on some of the coolest characters. So huge shout out for that. Yeah. Kickstarter.com, Sewer Boys 2.
All links in the description.
Thank you.
Amazing. Good concept. Great concept.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a real pleasure.
Welcome.
And yeah, I feel like it was fun just hanging out.
Cool.
Yeah, well, next time, if it's early in the morning there, you could pull up a table, just turn the camera down on the table and, join the fun. It's the water's good,
Absolutely. Count me in.
All right, Jake, take us out.
So folks should know we have our Making Turbo Pit Fighter live on the air on YouTube every Sunday at 10 Eastern. Draw along at home and, if you're a creator. And our other series is what you're watching now. And we also have Comics That Influence, where we do flip-throughs of great comics and, great things that we find. And we talk from the perspective of 2 art teachers, page by page, and then the context of comic culture and all that great stuff. And so those are posted regularly. But we're doing interviews. We're booked solid ever since the IC3 con. So we're glad to also have you come in over the internet. That's a great, get for us. And then when you want free sci-fi, we have prose that comes into your inbox every week in the end of the world timeline, and that's our Doom Mag Substack. So our socials are Doom Mags and Turbo Pit Fighter on YouTube, and everything else you can just catch us. Google it, Doom Mags. So Kurt, we'll see you. I'll see you next Sunday, and Jason, just hang on for the post game, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Awesome. Jason, thanks again. And Jake, I will see you next Sunday.
Yes, sir. And see you in the funny biz.